Okay, I know this has been crossing your mind, whether to get a business partner and not, and who to look for and how. You may have some ideas, but we're gonna go over it right now. So in the beginning, whether you're by yourself or you have a partner, it doesn't matter. Either way, you're both gonna be wearing all the hats. You may think that wrenching is 80% of the business. I thought the same thing. I made a mistake by thinking that. But as you start growing your business, the first year, you start realizing, man, wrenching is literally only 20% of the whole picture. That being said, I highly recommend finding a business partner. You'll have way more success. There's even studies about it. Now, if you're a control freak, you might have a hard time with that, and you want things your way, then by all means, go for it. You have the type of personality that can make it happen. So if you're anything like me, I'm not a type A personality. I can't do everything. I have other responsibilities. I have a wife and a kids with bills. So I need all the help I can get. I know my limitations. Okay, so when you first get going, things are gonna get pretty hectic and busy. So you need someone that you can share the workload with. Now the cool thing about that is you're not gonna know everything, neither is your partner. Now if your partner is also a technician, that's kind of cool because you both are gonna bring different skill sets to the table. One of you is gonna be better at something than the other. Someone may be more organized, someone may be more analytical. Either way, you'll be surprised at what your partner has to bring to the table. Things that you would have never guessed is pretty awesome, and likewise with yourself. Now that brings us to this, the most important part right here. You're gonna grow your business a lot faster and a lot stronger if you can get someone to help you out. Now be warned, this is gonna test your relationship. So if you're friends beforehand, you may not be friends after a while, but I'll tell you this, it's kind of like a marriage. One day you may be frustrated not getting along, but guess what? You guys are sharing an experience and an adventure together. At the end of the day, at the end of the week, you guys will be tighter than anyone, I promise you that. So that's why it's very important to find the right person. All right, so qualities to look for in a good candidate for a business partner. Now I had a benefit because I worked at a dealership that was pretty large and I had been there for about 12 years. So the first thing you want to do is start observing. Start observing people, start noticing things that you haven't noticed before by looking to see what people do, how they go about their day to day. Do they get upset and kick the trash can when something goes wrong? I know someone that does that, by the way. All right, you may have a couple people in mind, but I probably asked about 4 people hypothetically, not serious, because I didn't want the word to get out. But I hypothetically asked people, and if they bit, then I got a little deeper in and say, hey, this is what I'm planning. Now you may think that they're gonna be all in, but this is gonna totally freak them out. It will totally freak them out, and they will be like, no way. So some of the people I asked I thought for sure was a shoo-in, was like, no, it did not work out. The funny thing is, I look back now and I think, thank God that we didn't go into partnership together, because based on their personalities, it just wouldn't have worked out now that I know what I know. So obvious things is you both have to have a passion for it. So my partner and I, we have passion in a lot of areas. In fact, I love the arts. I love drawing, painting. I love making things. I used to make knives, things like that. My partner Danny, he's a photographer, a professional one. We both try to go into business, our own business, our separate ways in those fields. It didn't just work out. We got together and said, hey, what are we good at? We're good at fixing cars, and I love fixing cars. We never thought of doing a business that we're actually in, and I'm glad we did. There's a ton of studies out there that say stick in the same field that you're in because you're gonna have a higher rate of success. You spent your whole career learning what you know. You may think, oh, it's just cars, but if you dig in deep, you're gonna realize, man, I know a lot of stuff. What are you gonna spend 5 years learning something else? You're gonna get in there and be like, oh man, you know what, this isn't for me. What the heck did I do? You know this field, you know what you're doing. So that's why this is the best choice for you. So another thing, you're gonna wanna pick someone that's reliable, obviously. Someone that you're noticing is at work every day. Someone that you know, noticing that is staying late or coming in early or working extra hard. That's who you want. Not someone that's really screwing the system over, but someone that's actually has a drive, because you know what? They're gonna be maxed out where they're at, and they're gonna wanna go somewhere else. They're gonna wanna do something great, but because they're pushing their current position to the max already, so they will be ready for something like that. Compatibility is a big one. Obviously, you guys need to get along. You guys have to have some common interests. Now, my partner and I, our personalities are totally 180, kind of like my wife and myself. He's actually older than me. I'm younger, and we come from different backgrounds. But we have a lot of the things that we both like in common. We both like the outdoors, we both like camping, hiking, all those types of things, obviously working on cars. So we actually do have a lot of interests, but our personalities are totally opposite, and it actually is very refreshing when you're with that person every day because you don't want to be around someone like yourself. Someone that's creative and open-minded is also an important one because they're problem solvers. If you're creative, you're problem solvers. Open-minded means that you're not a black and white thinker, that you can sit back and say, you know what, maybe that can work that way, maybe you're right, or maybe, you know, there's some stubborn people out there and they make a good business partner, but this is gonna come into play later. Adaptability, this is another big one because you're gonna run into roadblocks. It's just part of it. You run into roadblocks already at your work and you have to try to figure things out. You're a problem solver by nature, so you have to be able to really adapt. Your partner has to be able to adapt as well. You can't just sit on his hands and be like, well, I don't know what to do. You gotta get up and do something. You gotta do some research. You gotta be able to be like, okay, let's try this, let's do it. Moral compass, this will actually ruin your business if you find someone that's shady. If you're noticing you're working at the dealership and they're screwing the warranty department over like big time, then you know that maybe that's not right for you, for that person. Or if you notice he's asking his employer for more hours when really he doesn't need hours, or he's running overtime while he's in the changing room. I mean, stuff like that, it's a character thing. You need someone with good character. Once you get your partner, you guys are gonna wanna find out what are your both strengths and weaknesses. Now, weaknesses doesn't mean that you just give up on that subject and sit on your hands. You need to always better yourself. You need to work on those weaknesses. Always work on strengths more than weaknesses, but do not forget about the weaknesses, okay? Having a weakness in something does not excuse complacency, okay? Now, I'm really bad at math, so that doesn't mean I'm not gonna do any of the QuickBooks stuff. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna do any of the estimates and the repair order quotes and things like that. It's called the calculator, guys, you know? So I just use a calculator. Now, my business partner, he's terrible at English. English is not his first language, but guess what? He's bilingual and I'm not. So in reality, who's the better person, right? So what he does, spell check, hello, you know what I mean? So you're always having to work on your weaknesses as well. Get out of your comfort zone, guys. You're gonna have to do it. This will make you a better person, I promise. All right, guys, thank you for joining me today. Click on the next video. Don't forget your notes. I'm gonna drill that into you. Always make notes.